Hello and welcome to PreColonial GED Express screencast with Teacher Jimmy. Today's topic focusing on the United States of America. So we're going to know about the history of the United States, American history. The United States of America. Pre-colonial America. The United States was originally populated by people migrating from Asia via Bering Land Bridge starting some 20,000 years ago. These people became the Indigenous people who inhabited the Americas prior to the arrival of European explorers in the 1400s and who are now called Native Americans. People living in the United States long before arrival of Christopher Columbus and the Europeans. These people and cultures are called Native Americans. So as we all know that the old people staying or living in the United States are those Native Americans. So they are called Native Americans or specifically named Cherokee or Apache and many more names. This page is an overview of Native Americans who lived in the United States. So I'm going to explain further about the Native Americans. In the United States, Native Americans, also known as American Indians or just simply Indians, are considered to be people whose pre-Columbian ancestors were indigenous to the lands within nations' modern boundaries. These peoples were composed of numerous distinct tribes, bands, and ethnic groups, and many of these groups survive intact today as a partially sovereign nation. The term Native Americans used to refer to themselves vary regionally and generationally, with many older Native Americans self-identifying rather as Indians or American Indians, while younger Native Americans often identify as indigenous or aboriginal, which terms should be used to refer Native Americans as all has at the times be controversial. The term Native Americans has been adopted by major newspapers and some of the academic groups, but has not traditionally included Native Hawaiians or certain Alaskan natives, such as Aleut, Yupik, or Inuit peoples. By comparison of indigenous people from Canada are known as the First Nations. Since the end of the 15th century, the migration of Europeans to the Americas has led to a century of exchanging and adjustment between old and the new world societies. Now I'm going to explain to you about the different of indigenous peoples, American Indians, where did they live as well. For indigenous peoples, the first people live in the land are called indigenous peoples or people. This means that they were the original settlers, that Native Americans are indigenous peoples and cultures of the United States. So at first, it wasn't the European from Spain or from England and from Dutch countries that this United States of America or Native Americans were called a Native American long time ago in the history. Now we have here American Indians. So I'm going to explain again. Sometimes these peoples are referred to as Indians or American Indians. This is because when Columbus had the first land in America, he thought he had sailed all the way to the country of India. So that actually it wasn't an Indian country. It was another American Indian people who lives in the United States of America. Because as we all know that Christopher Columbus loved to explore other countries as well. So it turns into that when he just dropped or passed by to that area, he thought that it was an India, America. But actually it's not. It is a Native American from the United States right now. He called the local Indians that the name stuck from some time. So it was stuck on his head, and then you know that India country is very famous also around the world. So he thought that when he passed by, so he thought that it was India, but it wasn't. it was another land, which is those people who live there are Native Americans or Native America. Where did they live? Native Americans lived throughout the North and the South America. In the United States, there were Native Americans in Alaska, Hawaii, and the mainland of the United States. Different tribes and cultures lived in different areas. In the middle of the country lived the Plains Indians, including tribes such as the Comanche and Arapaho, rather. The Arapaho. In the southeast area of the country lived tribes such as Cherokee, like I mentioned a while ago, and then Seminole, rather. So I'm going to explain about the tribes. The Native Americans were grouped into tribes or nations, usually based on the area they lived, in their culture, such as their religion, customs, and language. Sometimes smaller tribes were part of a bigger tribe or nation, as the best historians can tell. These tribes were fairly peaceful prior to arrival of Columbus and the Europeans. Since then, when Christopher Columbus and other Europeans, maybe it was a chaos situation, because before, when the Americans didn't come to that country, Native Americans will have a peaceful life based on the historians' research. How do we know about the history? So the answer is, the Native Americans did not write down or record their history. Of course, it's obvious already. So we have to find out about their history in other ways. Today, archaeologists are able to learn a lot about past cultures by digging up artifacts such as tools and weapons. Much of what we know comes from the recording of the first Europeans to arrive. We can also learn from the traditional stories that have been passed down within tribes from generation to generation indeed. Now, as you can see here, this is the map of America before. So basically, if you can see over there the arrows, we have the three arrows, Beringia, and then on the middle, Cordilleran rather, ice sheet there. The ice sheet, it's over there. You can see the contour or the platform of the map. You have the Laurentid ice sheet and ice-free corridor. So there is a red arrow over there. So on the red arrow down below, you can see that there is a triangular shape or triangle shapes. Actually, there are two, Folsom and Clovis. So you can see here that covered by ice, free in the corridor. So you can see that the Indian people also have a hard time in their life before, but it's already existing. There were already people there like Cherokee, Apache, and many more people or tribes living in this community. In Beringia, there's a lot also Indian people who lives there, and all of this kind of cover of this contour line, which is on the top. You can see the white color, the ice free in the corridor on that area. So you can see on the top on the right side that it is really covered with ice and it's very cold. So they have also a struggling a hard life there, but of course they survive as well. So you can see there that this area is owned by Native Americans or Native Indian Americans. Native Americans today some of the descendants rather of the original Americans Indians live on reservations. These are areas of land set aside especially for Native Americans. This helps to protect their heritage and culture. However, only around 30% live in reservations. The rest live outside in reservations just like anyone else. So as we all know that if I'm going to go back here, in this picture, particular picture here, we have here the picture of the Native Americans. These are their costumes, their traditions, and how they look like. So like I explained to you already that the one who lives in the United States are Native Americans. So they are the first who lived in the United States of America after so many years, and then Christopher Columbus discovered the United States of America, but actually many European people who discovered the United States of America. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Since you are here already, you might as well subscribe to our channel. Connect with us in www.phuketpals.org or visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/phuketpals. If you have questions regarding our organization, contact us with the line or through line rather, or give us a call at 081-417-0978. That will be all. See you on my next screencast. Have a great day. Thank you guys. See ya.